them was Notre Dame law professor Amy Barrett. I want to play a little bit of what Senator Feinstein had to say to her last week when asking about her Catholic faith.
When you read your speeches, the conclusion one draws is that the dogma lives loudly within you. And that's of concern.
She wasn't the only one. We also heard similar questions and intimations from Senator Dick Durbin, another Democrat. And it made me think back to when Senator Sanders, earlier in the summer, was asking a Christian nominee to be a deputy director at the OMB about his faith and hinting that he may be Islamophobic. What's going on up there?
This is a disturbing trend to the extent that any of these comments might reflect belief by coastal elites in secular dogma of sorts, one that is to be aggressively enforced. That is itself very disturbing. Look, our Constitution prohibits the use of religious tests. Any religious test to determine someone's eligibility or lack thereof to serve in a federal office is itself unconstitutional. It also has no place in our society. As a religious minority myself, I'm very sensitive to any suggestion that someone ought to be disqualified or made less eligible for a federal office by virtue of the fact that their religious beliefs live strongly within them.
I got to say that what we've seen in that hearing last week and the earlier one in the summer with Senator Sanders, it seems like there is a very targeted skepticism about the Catholic faith or about Protestants or Christians. Can you imagine a scenario in which one of these senators would ask somebody of a different faith tradition, a Muslim or Hindu or anyone else, about whether that would impact their ability to be a good judge, a fair judge?
If such a question were raised, people would be outraged, and understandably so. It therefore stands to reason that we ought to be equally outraged when someone asks this question of someone who is a devout Catholic or an evangelical Christian, as has happened in the last few days in the case of Professor Barrett, or in the case of an evangelical Christian with Russ Vought a few months ago with Senator Sanders.
All right, well, we'll keep an eye on those nominees and everything else you guys are dealing with, tax reform, the debt ceiling, all of it.